In the beginning of the story, we are shown an airport where we see a pilot named Brad. He is going fast toward the plane, and at the same time, he is also talking to his daughter on video call. His daughter says that I saw the news this morning in which it was being told that the weather in the area where you are going is very bad, due to which many more flights have been canceled, so you should also cancel your flight and come back home. But Brad smiles and replies that I have flown safely in such weather before, so you don't worry, I will come home soon. Hearing this, his daughter becomes happy and cuts the call. After that, Brad comes to the cabin of the plane and meets the co-pilot. The co-pilot was a little nervous because today he was going to fly for the first time. Then an air hostess comes and calls Brad outside, where a police officer tells Brad that you will have to take a killer with you due to an emergency, whose name is Tony. Tony is a very powerful and dangerous person who has a murder case on him, and now he will be taken to another country by plane and put in jail for life. The police officer tells Brad that we are giving you this responsibility because you are a capable and smart pilot. Brad agrees and puts Tony in the last seat so that the other passengers do not have any trouble. After that, all the passengers sit on their seats and Brad comes to the staff of the plane and confirms that all the passengers have arrived, after which the plane takes off. After reaching the height, Brad puts the plane on autopilot and starts talking about his family with the co-pilot. Brad shows the co-pilot his daughter's photo on his mobile and says that I love my daughter very much and we have no one in this world except each other. On the other hand, the passengers on the plane are enjoying the journey, but they did not know that after a while they were going to have a very bad time. Both the pilots in the cabin were happy and the plane was flying normally, but suddenly the weather got bad and the plane started shaking slightly, which made Brad worried because he wasn't feeling well. He announces to all passengers to fasten their seatbelts, and through the radio, he tries to talk to the control tower, but he is not able to talk because all the radios here stop working due to bad weather. Suddenly, a sharp electric shock comes from the plane, due to which the plane starts shaking violently. Brad goes out of the cabin to see the condition of the passengers. Brad gets a little peace of mind by seeing the passengers because all the passengers were safe. But here, the lights were slowly turning off, and then the plane got many more shocks, which made Brad's head fall down from the roof in front of him, and he got a wound on his forehead. Seeing this situation, all the passengers were in a bad condition. Brad quickly comes back to the cabin and starts taking care of the plane with his companion. This was a very difficult time for him. Because of the bad weather, he could not see anything ahead. Brad says that we have to bring the plane down, because if the plane gets another shock, then the plane can be destroyed. These people immediately start reducing the altitude of the plane and the plane starts going down fast. The passengers in the plane were very scared. At that time, the mobile phone of the police officer who came with the criminal Tony is released from his hand. He opens a seatbelt to pick up his mobile phone. To help him, an air hostess also opens her seatbelt and comes forward. Now, because the plane was going down fast, as soon as he opens his seatbelt, the two of them collide with the roof. These two collide with the roof so fast that they die immediately. In the meantime, the plane comes at a very low altitude, and somehow these two pilots control the plane. But now there is not much power left in the plane. That's why Brad couldn't get the plane to the airport. That's why Brad thinks of crashing the plane into the sea. But then they see an island a little far away, after which Brad turns the direction of the plane towards the island and decides to land on the island. After many difficulties, Brad finally lands on an emergency road on this island. Luckily, all the passengers are safe in this emergency landing and no one gets hurt. That's when there is a short circuit in the back of the plane, which makes Brad happy because there was still a little bit of electricity left. After getting off the plane of all the passengers, an air hostess tells Captain Brad that the police officer who took the criminal Tony has been killed, and an air hostess has also been killed. Hearing this, Brad is very disappointed. On the other hand, the owner of the airline company sees that his plane has suddenly disappeared because he had not seen the plane landing, and due to the radio being out of order for a long time, he was not able to contact the pilot. That's why the owner of the airline company calls a rescue expert named Scarsdale, who works to find such people who are stuck somewhere in difficulty. The owner of the airline company tells him that I need all the details of my plane, like where did it go, where are his workers, and all the passengers. After which the rescue expert starts his work. On the other hand, all the passengers were wondering, why did we get off here? Brad gathers all the passengers and explains that we had to get off here due to the emergency. There is still some electricity in the plane, which we will fix the rest of the things. Until then, you guys stay here comfortably, and you guys don't worry. Very soon we will leave from here. After which Brad comes to the plane and starts fixing it. But he sees that the power in the plane is very low, so he will have to wait for help.
These people take out the map and start looking at their location themselves so that they can find out where these people are. Brad's companion looks at the co-pilot map and tells that we are stuck on a private island. This place is very dangerous. There are people here who do not listen to any government or government. If these people catch us, our life can be in danger, and our government will not be able to save us. Hearing this, Brad says that now we have to call our rescue team from anywhere so that they can come and save us all, because this is the only way to get out of here. After which they start fixing the radio to call for help, but the radio was completely damaged by the collision of Skylight. Now Brad comes to all the passengers and tells them that the radio is not working due to some malfunction. But don't worry, Brad assures them that we will go to the other side of the island and find the radio. And we will tell the control tower our location and ask the rescue team to send it here, which will come and save you all. And here Brad takes a very big step. He says that Tony will go with me. Saying this, he opens Tony's handcuffs. Here Brad tells the co-pilot of the ship that you start working on repairing the ship's power. I will try to bring the rescue team here soon through any contact. After which Tony and Brad set out towards the jungle to find the radio. On the way, Tony thanks Brad for trusting him. Now we see the terrorist group living on this island. A man comes running to them, and that man tells the leader of the group that a plane is stopped here on the island due to an emergency. And there are a lot of people inside it who are from different countries. Hearing this, the group leader gives some money to that man, and the group leader tells his team to get ready. Brad and Tony are moving forward in the jungle of the island. Tony asks Brad, "Why did you set me free? And where are you taking me now?" Then Brad tells him that I can't put everyone in danger because of you, and there is a dangerous terrorist group here that you have to face with me. Then Tony tells Brad that I am from a military background, and I have been on duty in the US military for many years. In a while, Tony's voice stops coming from behind. When Brad turns around and looks, Tony was not there. He had run away from Brad. And now Brad goes alone into the jungle. Moving forward in the jungle, Brad goes to an empty factory where he finds a telephone. But that old telephone was broken. After that, Brad starts connecting the wires of the telephone on the side, and the telephone starts working. Brad quickly calls the company's helpline. Brad tells the helpline his location and everything, but due to some error in the line, his voice does not reach the person in front, because of which the helpline calls Brad. Then Brad gets an idea. He calls his daughter and tells her to write her location and everything else on a paper and send it to his office. During the conversation, a man comes from behind and attacks Brad. But Brad manages to control him with great difficulty and kills that man and makes him unconscious. Then Brad feels that another man is coming to this room. That's why he hides quickly. But that man was none other than Tony, who had killed a lot of goons and took their weapons. And he calls Brad, "Don't be afraid, get out." Then when Brad comes in front, Tony hands Brad a gun to protect him. After that, when these two come to the floor below the factory, they find a camera here. They find out from the recording of the camera and the passport lying there that the terrorists living on this island kidnap people and demand a lot of money from their family. And even when they get money from the kidnapped man's family, they still kill him instead of letting him go. Seeing this, Brad understands that our passengers are also in danger. After which they both come out, and they see a car in front of them. This car belonged to the terrorist who was killed by Brad a while ago. Now they both sit in the car outside and start going towards their passengers. All the passengers are sitting there waiting for Brad, that Brad will come to help them soon. Then they hear the sound of a car. Hearing the sound of the car, these people are happy, and these people think that Brad has called a rescue team for them. But these were not the rescue team, but the terrorists living on this island. They start firing bullets and scaring all the passengers. Brad and Tony also heard the sound of those bullets. After which they increase the speed of the car and try to reach the plane as soon as possible. The leader of the terrorist group asks for a list of all the passengers from the air hostess. Out of fear, the air hostess quickly brings him the list and gives it to him. Then a man from the gang asks the co-pilot, "Where is your senior pilot?" On which the co-pilot tells that he went to the jungle for some work but has not returned yet. That's when Brad and Tony also reach there.
But these two are watching these people from a distance. Meanwhile, a woman tries to escape from there, but they shoot her. Seeing this, Brad goes to help them, but Tony stops him. And Tony says that you stay calm. It is not right to go now. The leader of the gang takes all the passengers in a bus, and the leader of the gang leaves his two companions there and tells them to go. Bring all the valuables in the plane. After which these people start taking all the passengers to their den. After the gang leaves, Brad gets angry at Tony that they took our passengers and you did not let me go. On which Tony explains to him that they were too many. Even if you had gone, you would not have been able to fight such a big army alone. Now these two start moving towards the plane, and they catch the two goons who were stealing valuables from the plane. Brad asks them at gunpoint where your leader must have taken the passengers, on which he tells that we have a den a little far from here, and they must have gone there. On the other hand, Brad's daughter gives Brad's written paper to the rescue expert, on which the location of the plane and all the information is written. The rescue expert uses the satellite to find out the location of the plane. He finds out that the plane is stuck on an island, and he also finds out that there's a dangerous terrorist group on this island. After this, the rescue officer calls his private army captain, and he tells him to go to that island by explaining all this situation. The private army captain agrees, and with his companions, a bag full of money and many weapons bags are loaded in the car and ready to go to that island. On the other hand, Brad sees that before taking those terrorists, the co-pilot of the plane had repaired the power system of the plane. And Brad sees that the power has come back in the plane, which makes him very happy. Now Brad writes a message on his uniform for the coming private army team, and leaves with Tony at the place where all the passengers of the gang plane had gone. On the way through the jungle, they both reach the hideout of those terrorists. And they both get out of the car and sneak into the place where all those goons were making their videos by scaring the passengers, so that these videos can be sent to their family and collect money from them. On the other hand, the private team sent by the rescue expert also reaches the plane. But when they don't find anyone there, the team leader goes inside the plane and checks, where they find the corpses of two people. These were the two people who were told by the leader of the gang to steal all the valuables from the plane, but Brad killed them both. The captain of the private team also gets a message from Brad, which was the way to get to the hideout of that terrorist gang. Tony and Brad were secretly watching them at the hideout of the terrorists, and as soon as they get a chance, they both sneak behind and kill two terrorists. Then they both sneak ahead and reach outside a room. All the passengers were locked inside this room. Now Brad wanted to get rid of these people, but there were a lot of guards guarding there, and Brad didn't have the key to open the door. After this, they both kill those guards one by one, and Tony picks up a hammer and kills many guards with the hammer. Here Brad takes a key from a guard and frees those passengers from the room. He tells them to get on the bus in which the terrorists had brought you all, and they all get on that bus quickly. Then Tony comes to Brad and tells them there is only one way to get out of here by car, but there are a lot of goons with guns standing there who will start shooting at us as soon as they see us. When Brad looks at the passengers, they are all very scared. Now here Brad makes a decision by putting his life in danger, and he tells Tony that I will distract all the terrorists present there and you take the opportunity to take all the passengers from here. Now first Tony forbids Brad to do this. He says that by doing this, they will kill you. But Brad says that we have no other way except this. Hearing this, Tony agrees. Brad leaves there and comes to the terrorists. There, Brad talks to the leader of the gang that I have informed for help. The rescue team will come here soon, so let all the passengers go from here. Hearing this, all the gang members laugh at Brad and start beating Brad. The head of the gang says that how can I leave like this? I don't leave anyone without money. And now as soon as these people are about to kill Brad, the private rescue team reaches there and attacks the terrorists. And after shooting for a long time, they kill many people of the gang and release Brad, and take Brad on the bus and leave here. Here the leader of the gang sees that his younger brother was killed along with many of his companions. Seeing this, he gets very angry and swears that he will not leave even one of these people and will kill everyone. After this, he tells his team to get ready quickly. We will soon leave to kill these people. The captain of the private team in the bus tells everyone that we are just a small private team of 5 people who have come here to save you, and we are not a rescue team.
The rescue team will take some more time to come here. After hearing this, Brad gets scared and says that we don't have time because the gang will come after us soon and kill us as soon as they see us, but I have an idea.
As soon as he reaches the ship, Brad tells all the passengers that the power has come back in the ship. That is, the ship will start now and we will leave here immediately. So all of you get on the ship quickly because we can't wait for the rescue team. It will take them time to come here, and if we stay here, we will be killed by those terrorists. After hearing this, everyone gets on the plane while Brad starts checking the plane, and the people of the private team get ready for the upcoming danger. Then suddenly that terrorist group comes and attacks them, seeing which the private team starts stopping them, and there is a lot of shooting from both sides. But this private team had very good guns, because of which they kill a lot of goons. Brad quickly tells the leader of the private team that I am going to start the ship in the next 5 minutes and you all get on the ship quickly. After this, Brad goes to Tony and thanks him that you supported me in such a difficult time. Brad, while saving himself from bullets, comes inside the ship and sits in his cabin and starts starting the plane with his partner, the pilot. On the other hand, Tony runs out of bullets, and when he checks the bag of the private team to find the bullets, he finds a bag full of money there. But at this time, Tony leaves the money and takes out the bullets from the other bag and starts fighting the terrorists again. Until then, Brad also turns the plane to the right. Now the soldiers of the private team also get on the ship one by one, and Tony gives them a cover fire. The radio also starts working because of the power. Now Brad is told by the owner of the plane company that I will tell you a safe place that you can go. Now everyone gets on the ship, but Tony does not get on. He starts running away with a bag full of money, because if he goes back in the plane with them, the police will catch him again and put him in jail. The leader of the gang gets angry when he sees his colleagues dying. He brings a rocket launcher in front of the plane and thinks of flying them in one shot, but at the right time, Tony sees him. Now Tony quickly picks up the gun, shoots him and kills him, and saves everyone's lives. Seeing this, Brad is very happy with this work of Tony, and Brad succeeds in flying the plane with all his strength. Seeing this, Tony is happy for all the passengers and Brad and runs towards the jungle with a bag full of money. Brad takes the plane away from this island, and the owner of the plane company tells him about an airport where they could go, which was now very close to them. Brad takes the plane to the place told by the owner of the airline company, but then again, the engine of the plane catches fire and the plane starts to destroy. So Brad turns on the emergency warning again and slowly tries to bring the plane down on the runway. Finally, after a lot of trouble, Brad drops the plane on the runway and everyone's life is saved. Brad and his co-pilot are very happy. There, the owner of the plane company and his team were also very happy. Now Brad goes back to see the condition of the passengers, so he sees that all the passengers are safe, and seeing this, his heart is at peace. All the passengers standing there start clapping for Brad and thank Brad. In a while, the rescue team also comes there for them, seeing which, all the passengers are happy. Here Brad sends the passengers with the rescue team, and the captain finally breathes a sigh of relief and sits on the stairs of the plane and talks to his daughter on the call. With this story ends. If you enjoyed the video, then subscribe to our channel and like the video, and share it with your friends.